What's your I'm not even supposed to be here today story? Was working retail, had 2 weeks left till school started again, and I was quitting. This lady let her kid shit on the floor in a clothing rack. My manager approached me and told me the situation and said I was to clean it up. I responded with, I have 4 days left here. I will quit right now. You don't pay me enough for that. She laughed and said she figured I'd say something like that. Then we both laughed. Then she said she'd find somebody who actually needed the job to do it. I have briefly mentioned this on here before, but I was almost sold into a sex ring as an infant. I was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where my biological parents basically listed me on the black market, intending to sell me for profit. Much to my fortune, a group that posed as buyers on the black market, but was actually an adoption agency, or at least worked closely with one, arranged to buy me, then proceeded to literally steal me in a van and spirit me away to Rio. There, I was kept safe, and at 9 months of age, a wonderful young couple from Pennsylvania flew down to meet me and take me home forever. I'm now living a fantastic life that was gifted to me against unimaginable odds, and I'm thankful for it every day, and I'm thankful to those who made it possible, whoever they may be. They must have had hearts of gold and boundless courage to enter dangerous situations like that to help the helpless and innocent children like myself. Working in a thrift store, covering another manager's shift, so she could take her birthday off. Right after I clock in, I see a woman stuffing her purse with used bras and panties, and then try to make a run for the door. I get as far as saying, "Excuse me, ma'am," before she screams and upends her XL Taco Bell cup full of Mountain Dew Live You Are over my head. She runs into the street and everyone in the store stares at me while I'm dripping in orange bullshit. Got to work the next 8 hours with sticky citrus scented hair. Reluctantly was taking a trip to Hartford, CT one weekend, and on the way, caught a flat tire. Friend drives a Lexus which requires a custom key to remove the tire, did not have the key, and had to be towed to an auto shop to have the wheel busted off. Whole process takes about 2 half hours and we are hungry and cranky, so we decide to stop off at a random bar we saw on Yelp, and we head straight there. Walk in and the owner is crazy excited, like running around the bar excited to see us. Insists we sit at the bar with him, and he tells us we are his first lunch customers ever. Serves us super great food. Stay for a while for some drinks with him, and have a good time. Later a few girls walk in, and he's only slightly less excited to see them. This dude had crazy energy. Have a good time for the rest of the night there, and end up dating one of the girls we met that night for 3 or 4 months. Really an enjoyable time. Not me, but as I'm getting dressed for work a coworker messages me to ask if we can switch stations. I was station A, he was station B. In my mind the stations were about the same, but people usually prefer station A. I say that's fine, and go to station B. I proceed to get 0 calls. He was busy the entire shift, including a guy that went into cardiac arrest while driving and hit another car and a tree, and the initial dispatch reported the passenger as being unconscious as well. I heard all on the radio. He texted me later in the night, like, "I'm never swapping with you again." I'm a teacher. I was sick and thought I could make it through a school day, but I was miserable. I went to the office to arrange a sub. On the way back to my room to get my car keys, I saw 2 students loitering outside the library. I tried to keep my head down and my ears closed, but as I walked by, one said to the other, "Man, I'm going to fucking murder that kid with this pencil when I see him." He could have said / about anything else, and I'd have kept walking. Alas. Missed my flight off Kauai and got on the next flight to Oahu. Flight was 20 minutes. Takeoff was fine, and we were ascending normally, until the plane jolted with such severity. As I rose out of my seat, I saw a flight attendant hit their head on the ceiling. People started screaming. The plane was tossed up and down and whipped side to side. I grabbed the arms to my chair like it was a jetpack and held on for my life. This continued for minutes. All I could think was, this is how I die. I'm not even supposed to be on this flight. What a terrible way to end this vacation. Eventually it stopped, and the pilot came on over the intercom and apologized for the turbulence and told us the drink service would be suspended. Don't care about the juice at this point, buddy. Get this plane on the freaking ground. Worked in fast food. Anyways, this one night it was crazy busy and some people had called in. Here I'm wanting to check my schedule, but noticed the massive lines. The one super chill manager looks at me and motions for me to come to the back, and she tells me that if any of the other managers catches me, I'm stuck there all night. Friday night I just wanted to go out and drink, so she literally grabs me by the collar and drags me out the back door and closes it behind me. Best boss ever. I was in the Coast Guard and I had to cover for someone on my day off. Well, the night before was my friend's last day in, so we threw down and partied. Normally when you stand by for someone, it's common courtesy from the other crew to basically give you the day off, unless you're really needed. So, I said fuck it. Well, I'm hungover on the rec deck trying not to die, and a pipe goes through that a body had been reported, and they called the crew to make preps and put me on there. Turned out to be 4 bloated bodies that had been gotten to by sharks and other fish. Worst smell I've ever smelled. Got back to station and had to throw away the uniform I was wearing. That shit sucked. But not as much as CISM afterwards. Got fired while on paid vacation leave to spend the weekend celebrating my 21st birthday. I get home from the bar around 3 am. Wake up at 4 am because my phone is ringing. Conversation goes like this. Hello? Drunkie, it's boss. We need you to come in at 6 to help open. No one else will do it, boss. I just got home from the bar. I'm still drunk. Just until 9. I just need you until 9. I'm drunk. It's my birthday weekend. I asked off months ago, but no one else will come and I'm drunk and on vacation. Please drunkie, please. Oh my god, for freak's sake. Just till 9. Just until 9, fine. I'll get up and take a shower and call a cab. Thank you. See you at 6 inches. I opened the bakery department and as an added surprise the coffee bar, which I was not trained to do, and worked both departments alone for 2 hours serving customers. 9 rolls around. Boss calls me into the back office as I'm clocking out and fires me on the spot for being at work smelling like vodka and asks me to clean out my locker. Looking back, I was supposed to get my annual raise 4 days later and she knew I'd be drunk. She set me up to work 3 hours, so she didn't have to give me a raise. When I was in middle school, my mom went to work before I woke up, so I always got myself to school alone. On this particular rainy windy day, I decided to accidentally sleep in until 11 am. I lived in northern Colorado, where there are hardly any tornadoes, but when I turned on the TV there was a serious tornado warning for my exact area. We lived in a tiny apartment on the 3rd floor, and all the neighbors were kinda sketchy. So I was alone and panicking, just wishing I had gone to school. By then the weather was too severe to walk the mile to my school, so I hid in the bathroom and accepted my fate, and eventually the weather cleared up. I went to the church one day to teach 2 organ lessons. The pastor came in and said he had received phone calls that the church bells had not tolled the noon hour, and he wanted to know why. I told him that the sexton had not shown up and that normally I would not have been there except to teach. Turns out the sexton was home sleeping off a hangover instead of on the job doing his duties. Coworker's granddad died. I was supposed to be on holiday, but ended up covering her shift. Got there and was informed I needed to fire someone. Well, not exactly. They weren't on high enough warnings yet. I had to convince her to quit. Note, I had properly fired her boyfriend 2 months prior for an unrelated reason. After that's done, an ex-staff member sent me a shitload of pussy messages that they hadn't gotten a leaving card/gift. I explained her they had given away their last shifts, meaning we didn't have time to organize anything, and B, it has never been one of my jobs to organize leaving card/gift. There were 2 other people assigned to the job. Finally C, I had bought another coworker a leaving gift with my own money, on my own time, nothing to do with work. Also, a kid chundered everywhere. 11-hour shift in my holiday time. Never again. Was working night security at a hotel at the time. My coworker in relief got bit by a spider and had necrosis, so I was called in while he was rushed to the ER. An hour into my shift the entire half of the town lost power, including the hotel. It was the middle of summer in 100-degree+ weather, and at night it reached upper 80 degrees if you were lucky. The hotel was 100% full and the parking lot was pitch black. During this time some dudes on bikes decide to come round and try to break into some cars. I had to chase them off. One of them got brave and tried to fight me and I had to tase him. His friends carried him off. I walked circles around the hotel for 5 hours before power came back. I wasn't even supposed to be there that week. Got in a small traffic accident, so the police sent me to the nearest hospital, which is within an Air Force complex. Beside me was a sick soldier. We were in the same room separated only by a curtain. Everything was fine until suddenly an officer came in asking what's the man's illness, then proceeded to hit the man multiple times while shouting how much of a pussy the man is. After all the beating, he peered into my side of the room and leave while the man cried telling the nurse that he's not pretending and are actually sick. Thank God I got picked up by my parents a moment after. Last summer there was this rugby tournament in my hometown. Since I play rugby while at college and my team is participating, I decide to go visit and watch the games. I originally had been unavailable, which is why I wasn't signed up. Anyways, it's a sevens tournament, but they have an injured player after the first game and are down to 6 for the next one. So in order to keep playing they need another player. They see me on the sidelines and ask me to pay. Now remember that my intention was to come and watch some rugby? Well, too bad. Now I'm borrowing someone's cleats and mouth guard to go play rugby in jeans. Despite that though we still played really well. This is long, but bear with me. I offered to cover on a day I didn't normally work, so my co-worker could spend some time with her family across the state. It was also the day we were training a new girl. I walk in, and the one other co-worker there starts filling me in on the day before. Apparently the new hire was all over the map and kept going to the bathroom for 20 to 30 minutes at a time, multiple times over a 6-hour shift. It was a doctor's office, and we open for the day, half day, so opening at 1, and she's not here. Not exactly the best impression when you're still training. Half an hour goes by, and she says she's walking there and starts rambling. She lives literally a block and a half from the office, so I don't know what she's talking about. My coworker pulled her aside and said she can't keep taking super long breaks unless she has medical problems or stomach issues. She gets it, completely understands and apologizes. Then she takes off her blazer and reveals the worst outfit I've ever seen for work. It was a romper that somehow showed off her ass and her chest at the same time, while also looking dirty, like she found it on the floor. She's talking like crazy and won't be quiet or focus on anything. Highlights during the few hours she was there. Stroked a patient's ass cheek and thigh because she wanted to see if her leggings felt as soft as they looked. Flirted with a man that was 70 and married, and when he didn't respond physically grabbed him and tried to force herself on him. Said she needed to get something from her boyfriend real quick. Parked in our back lot for 30 minutes where no one could see her. When she came back from her parking lot escapades, her entire personality was mellow and dropping until she just stopped functioning. She stared catatonically at the computer screen for 40 minutes while we discussed what to do about it. Ended up making up an excuse and having the doctors tell her to leave. As she left she went to go say goodbye to one of the docs and was slurring her words, and for some reason, at 5:30 in the evening, told him bye, have good mornings, and then left. She then called me multiple times at the office sobbing because she was fired. It was uncomfortable, and I wasn't even supposed to be the one working that day. Our university put on a drag show, and 5 minutes to doors opening, 2 of the organizers are having trouble getting the sound system to work. They ask me for help because I used to be one of the managers of the student union building. Fine, whatever, I'm halfway through MacUp and still wearing sweats and a bra, but okay. I ask them to keep the line of people preoccupied and keep the doors shut a little longer because testing the sound system makes it look like we don't know what we are doing. Well, we don't, but we can keep up appearances. Some bro someone got in. I don't know if he truly knew what a drag show was or just expected burlesque or what, but he taps me on the shoulder. All he can see is bra strap and curly hair and yells, "Yo, when is this shit starting?" And I just whirl around and tell him, "Whenever the freak, I'm ready." He was not expecting man voice. Got talked into covering an opening shift at the bar/restaurant I worked at. I figured, Sunday's slow, no issue. I ended up going nuclear on a waitress who kept freaking up. This was after months of her being useless. We'd given her chance after chance, and turns out all of the people in the bar heard me. It was like 5 people who all knew me personally, so not that bad, but still not great. Then I got talked into staying an hour later to help do extra prep and lopped off a chunk of my finger/fingernail. Had to throw away all the stuff I'd done because of the blood and couldn't find my fingernail chunk. Like and subscribe for more Reddit videos.